All righty, Bo, you did something pretty amazing last Saturday. You did an 8-hour free virtual session called Business Ownership Summit with all kinds of speakers, myself included, a CPA, washing machines, bankers, all of that stuff. I thought we should just look back and really admire what you did and talk about some of the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, the day turned out perfect. I mean, just the way, even how you opened us up, and then we went into the CPA, and then we went into, after the CPA, we went to a Justin Sloan. And what Justin's done, he's bought a bunch of Everbowls, which is a franchise system, and he's got a real estate background. He has a great story too. And
Hmm.
then we had the laundromat guy speak, and then we went into a franchise speed round. And then, I mean, it was like an intense day. I would have definitely not done a 7 hour day again. Like that was way too much content.
That's a lot.
But
Yeah.
but the thing was, the majority of people stayed on for the whole day, which was,
Wow.
it just I could tell they got a lot of value out of it. I mean, the big takeaways. One is there's a lot to learn out there, and you should always keep your head up, and you should always be checking out what other people are doing, learning, and figuring out what really makes the most sense for you. As I told you on the prior show, I'm like, hey, I learned my lesson. I just don't like investing out of state. Well,
Hmm.
I have so much problems with one house right now. I had to replace the sewer line, and then in the duplex, the second unit had it sprung leaks. I have to replace all the cast iron piping, and I was trying to sell this property, and like you learn
Yeah.
why we talk about a buy box, why we talk about the 2.5 hour radius from your house, why not to buy, invest out of state. I'm not saying people don't do it successfully. I'm just saying I learned my
Not for
lesson,
me. Yeah.
right?
Not for me. Yeah.
And so like a lot of my takeaways are that there's there's a demand. There's a huge demand for people and creators like you and myself and others out there that are creating good content for people to absorb and to learn and to grow and to share. And I think that's really the big message, that people like ourselves, we're inspired by helping other people. And so that's why I'm going to continue to put on events and share on my channel, on your channel, on wherever I get to get on stage, because it's important, because a lot of people don't know this. Like I talk to so many people that are like, hey, I'm paying a lot in taxes. And it's like, okay, well, what are your options? What can you do about it? And maybe it's owning the vending machines, because you can write off that with Section 179 and the bonus depreciation. Get with this CPA, figure out what you can
Yeah.
do. If I can save you 80 grand in taxes this year, would you be willing to
Yeah.
look at this? And so I think that was the real premise of it. And then understanding the different business models and like the amount of money in these different industries. Like, for example, we work with a parent company, which is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's called Neighborly Brands. They have 39 franchises underneath. They're all in the home service sector.
Mm.
They did $4 billion, I think, in revenue last year. This company, $4 billion. There's a
Wow.
huge amount of money. They have a lot of different home service industries. They have Mr. Appliance, which is a appliance fixing company. And you think about these boring businesses, but there's so much. If you just look at it from the opportunity side of it, it's fantastic. They have, gutter cleaning, maid, housekeeping, all these different concepts. I was just on a call right before this where we it's with my franchise brokers association, and every Wednesday we do a segment on how to sell this brand, and we talk about the different franchise concepts. And like it was one of the ladies presented on a maid housekeeping service, and
Mm.
it's like like this little boring business. Some of those are doing $1 million in revenue, right? And like, so there's something for everybody, whether you
Mhm.
want to just buy one rental at a time, or you want to own a business. I think that's like the takeaway, is like you need to learn, you need to get the foundation. And I think that's
Mhm.
what we're doing. We're empowering people, and
Yeah.
most of the stuff we're doing is completely free. Obviously, if we're doing some large in-person events, there's huge costs to that. But if I
Yeah, there is.
yeah, but if I was out there right now, there's a couple, it's subscribed to your channel, right? You're going to get a baseline of education that
Yeah.
you're not going to get anywhere else. And that's kind of my takeaway, is like find
Yeah.
these avenues.
Yeah. The other thing that I loved what you did is you not only made this a free event, but you've already downloaded it and you've posted it. So if somebody wasn't able to make it or they couldn't stay for the whole thing, where could they go and start watching it?
Yeah, just go to businessownershipsummit.com and you can watch this the 6.5, 7 hours. It's action packed. You guys will get a lot out of it.
Yeah, and I opened it. I actually have my talk track. I knew we were talking today. This is what I tried to give the audience as I opened it. We started with kind of an economic 101. These are the big building blocks, right? Economic 101, economics 101. Talk about the 2024 economy, and then we talked about the big trends. I won't go into the details of all of that, but I'm going to go to the big trends because I thought it was important. Baby boomers. The average baby boomer today is 67. The average baby boomer is going to live 21 more years. A lot of these baby boomers, they own businesses. A lot of them have kids that have no interest in being a part of this. This is the time to go find that baby boomer, structure a deal, work with Bo, the concierge to small business lending, and create just massive win-win opportunities. Allow them to exit. Let them have some cash at closing. Let them maintain a second of some size. And it's it's the time. That was a big thing for me is I want to open people's eyes because in real estate, a lot of times people, their exit plan is dying, right? I'm going to die, it'll go to probate, it'll just go to my kids. That's because it's physical. A business, they're going to want to sell it before they're gone, at least in most cases. So it was important for me to kind of get people to think about, yeah, you can watch the economy, you can watch the all these things, but it's time to start having conversations.
Yeah. I mean, that in my mind, what you just painted was like, this is the best time to be 100% focused on your buy box, because this time is when everybody doesn't know and everybody, this, that, and the other with presidency. Who cares? I mean, this is the
All
time where
noise.
you're
Yeah.
you're a problem solver. How are we going to solve problems and make and transition our legacy by creating amazing wins for not only the
Mhm.
seller who's probably just shut down the business, but for us. Same thing when
Yeah.
we buy a dilapidated house and like
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
want to list
Buy it
it.
from a slumlord. Yeah. Slumlord property's been bled for 10 years. It's in such horrible shape. It can't be listed. Yeah, I've bought plenty of those over the years.
Yeah, that's yeah. So after your presentation, and I think I'm going to share, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share the video with you with the
Mhm.
CPA, because really, um, my big what like I like to look at the whole ecosystem.
Mhm.
What are you doing right now? What kind of time do you have? What business would can you keep your W-2, and can we get you a business ownership that maybe can eventually replace your job? At least create enough cash flows so you can start buying one rental at a time. But
Mhm.
also a big piece of that is the taxation. So I'd like to share that on your channel with the
Yeah.
CPA, because I think it was like it really opens people's minds, and people are asking actually really good questions during that. Like, and when you're a business owner, people, there's you can create self-directed vehicles for your
Mhm.
retirement. Like you can have like solo 401ks and a bunch of different self-directed. The tax codes are geared for small business owners. If you
Yeah.
just play in the game and it's like, I just want to open people's mind. I mean, I'm not a CPA, but I'm like, I should
Yeah.
have been a CPA because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah. The big thing, there's a mindset shift that I think a lot of people should have. And I had to go through this myself. When I was an employee, right? You're just a W-2. You go to your tax person, there's not much you can do, right? You think that the IRS tax code's a penalty system. However, I really now believe that the IRS tax system is a reward system. They make choices every year on what things they want to reward and not reward. And I think when you go in it with that mindset and you find a CPA who understands that, I think it's just a huge unlock. So I look forward to watching it and posting it because I think it has to be a mindset shift. The tax code is not a penalty system, it's a reward system.
And also, I think Guys, like you need to seek out people, CPAs that are not just like order takers, and you're gonna go, oh, well, this fits in this box, if they're not meeting with you quarterly, you should fire them. You need to meet with somebody that's proactive, that's going, okay, Bo, all right, hey, you just bought this Ford Expedition brand new for 76 grand. I'm using it 90% for my business. How is that going to apply to how can I offset some of my earned income? This is the stuff we should be doing every day. You should be planning way before the year end on what
Yep.
equipment or what you need to buy from a tax strategy standpoint. Does it make sense for this year, or should I hold over to next year? I have like that marina and restaurant that we did a cost segregation. I think I've got 90-ish thousand dollars of accelerated depreciation. I don't think I need it this year, but can I then, my questions to the CPA are, how can I use this? Can I roll it to next year?
Hmm.
What's that going to look like? So you got to know these things and like know the advantages. If you have short-term rentals, talk to your CPA. I'm active in the business. What does that mean? These are what I always prep. And I don't know everything about tax code, but what I got really good at doing is asking the right person the right question and getting the
Hmm.
right answer. And so I think over time, I've done that so many times in lending, in SBA, in franchise, that it makes me kind of a complete, not that I'm like a guru in one particular spot, but I think when people come to me, I have enough insight I can give them the right direction. And that's
Yeah.
what's propelled me over the last 26 years of my professional career.
And then the other thing I think you really did well at this business ownership summit is you brought in somebody that's active in laundry. And laundry is important because, of course, Cody Sanchez talks about it all the time, talks about how she got started there. So I'm curious, what little tidbits did you get from the guy that's doing laundry?
So Jordan brought on one of his colleagues who's like a super guru in laundry, and that guy builds them from the ground up kind of thing, and then he also brought on the panel a younger lady who's in college, and she wasn't ready to buy a laundromat, but she started a mobile remote laundry service, right? So
Oh,
like she only had like $1,000, or I don't even think she had like $500 to start her business, and now she made it into a profitable venture doing wash and fold,
hmm,
and she takes people's clothes and launders them and drops them off at their house. Like it, guys, you don't need a ton of money. If you don't have the
yeah,
money to, invest in a franchise or do a business acquisition, you can start a business like what this with her name was Madison. So that was an awesome takeaway too,
that's awesome.
because I think we can all think outside the box. No matter where you're at right now, there's something you can do to move the needle positively. And that's our message, that we do the work and move the needle. And
Yep.
that's what I got out of that session. I mean, there's a lot. I think, finding the deal, just like in real estate, is always the issue. So
Hmm.
be the best deal finder you can. Like if you have more time than money, become a good deal finder, and then partner with somebody who's got money that'll help you close on that laundromat. Same thing in real estate.
Hmm.
When I didn't have money, I found somebody with money, and I found a contractor, and we flipped a bunch of homes until I had money.
There
So
you
I
go.
think that was a big takeaway of that section. And then the last section, there was a couple sections we did a speed round, but the last one I actually interviewed Rebecca Monet, who is the founder of Zoracle, and Zoracle is like the disc profile we give to people that want to buy a
Mm,
business, and it
yeah.
and it and it's that was fun because she really gets in the mind, and she can figure out based on how they do their Zoracle, like what business model would make the most sense, and what drives this person. And it's like you think it's kind of hogwash, but when she does it, she's so spot on. Actually, she calls it the Spot On is the name of
Mm,
the assessment, Zoracle Spot On. We use it in the franchise brokers world to help us match the candidate with the right brand. And the franchise companies use it too, because they can say, okay, these type of attributes work well in our system, and so
mm,
that's how like this whole process works. So most good franchise brokers will use the Oracle profile. So it was great having her um, there, and then so kind of my big takeaways too to add on to this is what I'm doing for the next one, which will be in May. I'm doing a monthly, but it's going to be a meetup. So we're
mm,
meeting up on Zoom, and I'm only going to allow 20 people or maybe 25 tops because it's going to be interactive. And
right.
so people have to take their Zoracle if they want to buy a business and come to the event. They would have to take their Zoracle,
Ah, I like it.
and so then they come in and we can actually help them. And so the goal of this, it's an incubator. I call it Business Ownership Launch. It's an incubator. The goal is after they attend the 2.5 hour workshop on Saturday, May 11th, that in the next 60 to 120 days that we get them into some sort of business. That is the
Nice.
goal of the event. And
Wow.
so, yeah, I mean, so that was my idea. And I'm just like, I'm going to do it as an incubator. And then I'm going to give them 2.5 hours of the top people to drop some knowledge bombs on them. And then if they have, one thing is you have to be willing to take action. That's one
Yeah.
thing, right? Like, so the prerequisites to get in this, your credit score has to be somewhat good. You have to get 680 or better, and you should have a give or take around 25,000 at least of liquidity. And if
Okay.
if you have that, then I can help you. If you don't have 25,000 of liquidity, but you have good credit, go find somebody with a little bit of money that you can partner with, and we can help you. So
Yeah.
that's a small barrier of entry.
No, I think it's wise. And again, you got to be able to make sure you're helping the people that can be helped, right? If you're going to do these intimate sessions, you got to make sure you have some qualifications. So I think that's a very wise move on your part. Joe, if they're not ready yet, it doesn't mean you can't be ready ever. You got, you got to take time and steps to get there. So one more time, where can they go find this 6 hour, 7 hour recording?
Just go to businessownershipsummit.com. And you can also book a call with me if you go to, actually, you can find the link on onerentalmeeting.com and book a call with me. Happy to talk to you about financing, buying businesses, how to structure deals, what to look for. I mean, the biggest thing, the big takeaway I have is everybody comes to me and says, hey, I want to buy a business. What do I need? And the first thing I say is, look, just go get the sellers 3 years of their business tax returns. Obviously, you have to build rapport. Get that and make sure that you get 2023 P&L because they probably haven't filed, and a balance sheet. Get that information because the biggest part we need to figure out is, will this business cash flow the new loan? And that's step one. Then step two is, do you have 680 or better credit score? Do you live in a 5 hour radius of the business? And you have 10% equity injection of the total project costs, and you have a good borrowing characteristics. That's what we need to know in the beginning. So
Yeah,
instead of you calling and asking, go get the tax returns. Maybe
there
I'm
you
going to make
go.
a T-shirt that says, go get the tax returns.
Yeah, go get the tax returns. That's amazing. Well, you're amazing. You are the concierge to small business lending. Folks, he is trying to help you understand how to get started, how to do the work. And I was very thrilled to be a part of the Business Ownership Summit. So thank you for that. I will post the video.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mhm.